Imagine a world painted in stark, rigid lines, where every detail is sharp and defined. This was the world of art before one man decided to shatter the rules and chase the sun. This is the story of Claude Monet, the rebel who taught us to see not just the world, but the light that dances upon it. But his journey from a ridiculed outcast to a celebrated master hides a secret. A struggle so profound it nearly cost him everything. What was the real price of capturing light? Born in Paris in 1840, Claude Monet wasn't destined for greatness. His father wanted him to join the family grocery business, a safe, respectable path. But young Claude had other ideas. He was a troublemaker, filling his school notebooks with caricatures of his teachers instead of lessons. By age 15, he was a local celebrity in Le Havre, selling his witty portraits. It was here he met Eugene Boudin, a landscape painter who would utter the words that changed Monet's life forever. Study the sea, the sky. It is so beautiful. Boudin dragged a reluctant Monet outdoors, handed him a brush, and forced him to paint en plein air, in the open air. In that moment, something clicked. Monet saw it. The fleeting, shimmering quality of light on the water. A beauty that couldn't be captured in a stuffy studio. He was hooked. He moved to Paris, the heart of the art world, but found himself at odds with its rigid institutions. The prestigious Académie des Beaux-Arts dictated what was considered good art. Historical scenes, polished portraits, and mythological tales. They demanded smooth, invisible brushstrokes and somber colors. Monet, however, was fascinated by the everyday world and the vibrant, ever-changing effects of sunlight. He and his friends, a group of young, defiant artists, including Renoir, Pissarro, and Sisley, were rejected time and time again by the official salon, the only path to fame and fortune. They were seen as messy, unfinished, and frankly, incompetent. But what the establishment saw as failure, Monet saw as a revolution. He wasn't just painting a bridge. He was painting the light reflecting off the bridge at a specific moment in time. Frustrated and broke, Monet and his circle decided to take a massive gamble. In 1874, they organized their own exhibition, a brazen act of defiance against the art world's gatekeepers. On display was a painting Monet had made of the port of Le Havre at sunrise. He needed a title for the catalogue and, on a whim, called it Impression, Sunrise. A critic, hoping to mock the group's hazy, indistinct style, seized upon the word. He sarcastically dubbed them the Impressionists. The name was meant as an insult, but the artists embraced it. They had a name for their revolution. The exhibition, however, was a financial disaster. The public laughed, the critics jeered, and Monet was plunged deeper into poverty and despair. He was on the verge of giving up, his revolutionary vision seemingly crushed. But Monet was a man obsessed. He had to capture the light. His obsession led him to a small house in Giverny. Here, he began a project that would consume the rest of his life. His garden. This wasn't just a hobby. It was his living, breathing laboratory. He diverted a river, imported exotic plants, and built a Japanese bridge over a pond he filled with water lilies. Every day, he would sit by this pond, painting the same subject over and over again. He painted the water lilies in the morning, at noon, in the evening, in every season. He wasn't painting flowers. He was painting time itself, capturing the subtle shifts of light and atmosphere on the water's surface. People thought he was mad. Why paint the same thing hundreds of times? They didn't understand. Monet was documenting the soul of light. But as his fame finally began to grow, a cruel twist of fate threatened to steal the very thing he cherished most. His vision, the tool of his revolutionary art, began to fail. He was diagnosed with cataracts. The The world he had studied with such intensity started to blur. The vibrant colors he loved warped into muddy, distorted hues. Imagine the horror for a painter whose entire life's work was based on seeing clearly. He could no longer distinguish the subtle blues and violets of his beloved water lilies. His paintings from this period became darker, more abstract, tinged with a fiery, desperate red. He was in a race against time, trying to get the images in his head onto the canvas before his world went completely dark. He underwent a risky eye surgery, a terrifying prospect in the 1920s. For a while, the operation seemed to make things worse. He saw everything with a yellowish tint, and then a bluish one. He was in despair, destroying canvases in fits of rage. Was this the end? Would the painter of light be consumed by darkness? It seemed his monumental life's work, the giant water lilies panels he promised to the French state, would never be finished. But Monet, the stubborn rebel who defied the art world, refused to be defeated by his own body. He persevered, slowly regaining a semblance of his former vision, though it was forever changed. He learned to see again, in a new way, and here lies the most stunning part of his story. For decades, the world believed Monet's late, abstract-looking works were simply the result of his failing eyesight. A tragic, final chapter. But in recent years, a new theory has emerged, and it changes everything. What if it wasn't just the cataracts? What if Monet, in his struggle, was intentionally pushing the boundaries of art further than anyone had ever dared? What if his blurry vision was actually a gateway, allowing him to see beyond the surface of reality and paint pure emotion, pure color, pure light? The very works once dismissed as the product of a failing old man are now seen as the foundation of abstract art, decades ahead of their time. He wasn't just losing his sight, he was gaining a new one, a vision that would inspire generations of artists to come. Monet didn't just paint the light he saw. In the end, he painted the light he felt. He didn't just change art, he changed the very way we see the world. Thank you so much for watching. What do you think of Monet's final works? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey into the heart of an artistic revolution, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Impact Figures for more stories about the people who shaped our world. We'll see you in the next one.